Certainly is, guys. A lot of news in the NBA. And obviously, we learned last night that Jaylen Brown, who we've talked about a lot on this show, got traded. Not only did he get traded, but he got traded for what appears on the surface to be an underwhelming package. Go ahead, Mike.
And we just learned about 3 minutes ago, according to Shams, that the initial offer that Boston and Philadelphia discussed, and I'm assuming this came from Boston's side as opposed to what actually happened. Boston asked for Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, and 5 first-round picks in exchange for Jaylen Brown. I'm going to repeat that. They asked for Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, who was an all-rookie performer, finished third in Rookie
Why
of
did
the
they
Year
even
voting.
want Paul George? They had to have him for the money, right?
Jaylen Brown's making $60 million.
So nobody really wants Paul George at this point.
No. I thought it was an untradeable contract.
Yes.
Turns out you can trade any contract, and 5 first-round picks. That is what Boston initially asked for in a Jaylen Brown trade. This is what they actually got in reality for Jaylen Brown. Paul George, 1 first-round pick, 1 future first-round pick swap, and 2 second-round picks.
Oh, the other first-round pick is only a swap?
It has the ability to be swapped.
I thought it's 2 first-round picks.
A first-round pick and a pick swap are the same thing.
Not real. No, it's not.
No, because yesterday I thought it was 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks.
So it's just
the second first-round pick is the ability to swap. It is not a
right, but that's not getting an extra pick. That's worse. I mean, it's not. It's something that you could swap, but you lose a pick.
We're saying the same thing. They got, in theory, 2 first-round picks.
They got nothing.
They got nothing.
Yes.
And by the way, the Celtics got to be embarrassed that Shams put it out there because now they look even worse. Way worse.
Yeah. This is Miniboski because I was under the premise.
Matter of fact, here, boy. Can I have Jaylen Brown? Can I have Jaylen Brown?
That to me, hey, listen, hold on.
I want a full box. This only has 70 left.
And because it's a wrist up Kool-Aid Mafia, he definitely don't want that. He's like, nah, that ain't worth nothing. Just give me some Kleenex.
Man,
so real quick. So with that being said, this is the question I want to ask you guys. We had talked at length about possibly moving Evan Mobley for Jaylen Brown. A lot of us were in favor of doing that to begin with. Considering what the actual price was for Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley would have been a significant overpay compared to what Philadelphia gave up. The question I want to ask you guys is, if the price on Jaylen Brown got that low to where it's Paul George and 2 first-round picks, 1 in the swap, however you want to phrase it.
Not 2 first-round picks. That's a big difference, Mike.
They didn't acquire.
Whatever. We're parsing.
We're not parsing words. You got it wrong.
No. I think this is correct. For you, McNuggets, you understand it because you're in the weeds with basketball.
You're right. You're right. We'll just call it 2 first-round picks.
A first-round pick and a pick swap.
So for us, we're
if that's the price that the Cavs make a mistake by not getting into Jaylen Brown.
Yes,
absolutely.
They did.
Absolutely.
Yes, they were right not to trade Evan Mobley 100% based on the price. But if you could, Mike speculated yesterday that they could have gotten him maybe for Jalen Tyson and Jarrett Allen.
Right, and that pick, that 32 pick, that just opened up.
I mean, that's a no-brainer, I would think.
Easy.
They get the opportunity to say, if you're worse, we'll take your higher pick.
Yeah.
But it's not another physical number 1 asset that you're getting above and beyond everything else.
Right.
So for me, I look at it like this. What do they know? Where is the skeletons here? Because Jaylen Brown is a finals MVP.
Yeah.
He's coming off the best year of his life.
Yes.
He showed he could be a number 1 player on a contender.
Yeah.
And he's already under contract for 3 more years.
And he's 28, so it's not like he's old or something.
So my thing is, I just, maybe it's a situation where when they started, shopping him and the Giannis thing didn't go through, because as far as what I've been reading, they offered him for Giannis. Package didn't work.
Yeah.
He went to Miami.
That's what started this, G.
And
once he learned he was in the Giannis trade rumors, he said, "I'm not coming back."
That had to be it.
Yeah.
And he probably is, and he good. So here's the thing, he's educated. He does a good job of not really doing a bunch in public that's going to make him look crazy, besides calling his team out after they lost in Game 7. But that's neither here nor there. But he's like, look, I'm not even gonna say I'm asking for a trade. You're gonna look at my face and know that you can't bring me back.
Yeah.
And Jason Tatum had to be like, hey, listen, bro, I'm kind of squeaky clean here. Don't make it be me versus him. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to be in that. And so Earl, I'm looking at
Tatum
it like
went
this.
home to his family like, man, my name Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Don't ask me for a quote.
I don't know, man. After like listening to Mike yesterday and just seeing how everything played out, boy, I'm kind of like you. Like, let me find out. I could have got Jaylen Brown and I didn't have to give up Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
Now we having a whole different conversation
yeah.
here because it's like, what are you doing to not even check in on a situation like that when you need a wing, when you need a guy that can play defense and can go get a bucket, when you talk about needing somebody else that can take Donovan and James Harden off the ball, well, you get all of that if you try to make a move for Jaylen Brown and you can do it and possibly not give up Evan Mobley.
Right.
We've had all these conversations about, okay, do you make this deal based on Donovan Mitchell's timeline and things like that? We never even thought. You ain't even got to give up Evan Mobley to get Jaylen Brown.
Like we would.
I'm shocked.
A week ago, we would have all agreed to trade Mobley for Jaylen Brown. Tyson and Allen. I mean, come on. And again, we don't know for sure that they.
That's simply me speculating of like.
But it seems reasonable.
But it seems realistic.
First of all, Jalen Tyson has potential. I don't know how high his ceiling is.
Legit potential.
But Paul George's shot.
And think about it like this. This is before Mitchell Robinson, right?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
So you put Jared Allen in there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, well, that fills a hole that they
wouldn't have to spend that money.
They wouldn't have to spend that money, and they could have upgraded other places.
Yeah.
It just seems like, I don't know what Kobe was doing. Do you think that he didn't think that he was going to go for the low? Do you think he kind of was like, yeah, they don't want none of this other stuff?
If he didn't, he dropped the ball. I mean you got to at least check in.
Because there's not very many
That's
people.
what I want to know.
Yeah.
Did he even check in?
Mike, do you think he checked in?
You know what? I assume the answer is yes because that's what these guys get paid. It is their job to check in and negotiate and figure out what the actual price is on all these players. And Mike Gansey, the new general manager of the Sixers,
he was just
literally
here.
just
right,
like,
exactly.
No,
so I don't understand why the Cavs had to why wouldn't they? Even if you're saying, oh, Jaylen Brown's a pain in the neck or whatever, who cares?
I think maybe we kind of went to. It's so funny we mentioned Kyrie Irving, right? If you look at Jaylen Brown, and this plays a role in different things with basketball more than any other sport. In football, there's 50 of y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you understand your pecking order. And I just listened to the Tristan Thompson conversation, and one of the things he stood out was, when Kyrie got to a point, he said, oh, I want certain concessions. And he was like, and Club Shay Unc said, he want his team around. He want his chef around. He want his guys to be in the facility. Like, and Tristan's like, oh, we understood. Like, he was now on that level of LeBron, and we understood that he got those concessions. It wasn't like we was gonna go ask for him. We knew what it was. It just seems like Jaylen Brown is here, right? And Jaylen Brown is pushing to say everyone around the league thought Tatum was it. They had Tatum being it. He's like, no, I'm it. And you have to think about the way it works inside the locker room. It matters more than any other sport of the pecking order.
Do you think it would have been an issue here?
Him and Donovan is good people, right?
And Donovan's
they're real tight.
On the surface seems to be the most selfless superstar in the league.
He cool. The problem is that's with Donovan. What about with the front office? I don't know what he said about the Celtics, right? How that resonates with other front offices. Because he's a streamer. Like, it's different from having a guy that's just a regular conversation guy. He streams. So if he has a problem with something, you're thinking like, dang, do we want to go to the streams? And the way it worked is like, I'm not saying I'm immune to it. I'm controversy be damned.
I don't know, G. Because this is an organization that had LeBron in the folds twice.
Facts.
And so if you can't handle Jaylen Brown jumping on the stream and possibly saying a thing or two, then that shows, you ain't got the infrastructure, which the Cleveland Cavaliers they clearly have the infrastructure to handle a personality much bigger than Jaylen Brown. I don't know about y'all, but personally, I kind of felt like he was underrated on this whole team.
I've always thought he was underrated.
So
I agree.
You see it the same way. It was like everybody looked at Tatum as Tatum was just like head and shoulders above Jaylen Brown, and I never really saw it that way. I always looked at Jaylen Brown to me as a better defender and a guy that can go get a bucket on the offensive side, just like Tatum can. And this year in particular, none of us who preseason knew that Tatum wasn't going to be around.
Right. We all thought
looked at the Celtics like y'all was going to be a relevant team. And Jaylen Brown had these dudes balling as a top 3 or 4 team all season. Right. Everybody else around Jaylen Brown changed their role. They adapted to playing like to his style, etc., and they winning. Tatum is sitting on the sideline watching Tatum and the Celtics have all this success without him. And his first thing is like, man, I need to get back on this court. I got to get back out here. And then in that game 7, I don't know if Tatum had one of these thoughts to where, man, I don't want to risk it and get injured again. But then you sit out on your team, and now Brown and everybody else like, man, we done had to adjust twice without you and now with you. And now here it is. So if I'm Jaylen Brown, I got every right to feel some type of way.
You know what's kind of weird twist, turn, whatever this? Since the rumors of Brown being in the Giannis package got out, it would have been very easy for Jason Tatum to come out public and be like, "No, that's my boy. He's with us." And never once, not once, did Tatum say he has made 0 public comments on anything since Game 7 when he didn't play. And he was legitimately hurt in Game 7. Like, it's not like he just decided I'm not going to play, but it did throw a wrench in their plans. They started Ron 100%. Harper Jr. in Game 7, who wasn't even part of the regular season rotation.
And by the way, guys, it seems like, and I don't think any of us would have thought this was possible a week ago. I know I certainly didn't. But it seems like it was possible that the Cavs could have had a starting lineup this coming season of Donovan, James,
don't do that, man.
Tatum, LeBron, and Mobley. That I think that was I didn't think that was possible. It seems like it might have been. And listen, obviously there would have been a lot of chemistry to work out, no doubt.
Because it's still one ball.
Right. And even if without Tatum and LeBron coming here, it's still going to be a lot to figure out. But man, what could have been? I mean, we'll never know.
This is, and really quickly, McNuggets, I think if you go back and look at it, this strikes me as almost the same thing that happened with the Cavs. If you think about it, a couple of years ago, when the Cavs won the championship, the next year they end up losing to the Warriors, right?
Right.
After that, Kyrie.
They went and got Kevin Durant that offseason. Yeah, July 4th, actually.
They got Kevin Durant, and then Kyrie was like, "Yeah, I'm cool on that."
Yeah.
The Celtics just won the championship a couple of years ago. Then the next year after they won the championship, Tatum hurts his leg, comes back this year in the middle of the season, plays well, but whatever. But my thing is this. If you know you got Derek White, you got Pritchard, you got some of the pieces you got, and if you can bring back Tatum and he's healthy next year, I would assume that the Celtics are at least with Tatum and Brown 1 or 2 in the pecking order.
Absolutely.
And you have them under contract. It's not like they a free agent. They just tweaked it. Why is it, McNuggets, that they have those 2 guys, 2 pieces that everyone covets, the wings, and it was a problem for everybody to cover.
You got 2 top 12, 13 wings in the entire NBA.
And you just said,
the only team that got that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying this is real. I'm just speculating, and I don't know if this is even remotely just something we haven't mentioned. The Celtics have a brand new owner. This is his first year taking over, or this most recent season was his first year taking over. We know what happens when ownership gets involved, and maybe the owner was like, I don't like Jaylen Brown streaming and talking reckless and talking about our franchise. You got to trade him.
Good luck owning an NBA team.
I'm not saying I'm just
attitude.
simply like, I'm with
we trying to figure.
I'm with you guys.
They traded.
They had 3 paths. The Celtics did. He's in the Giannis deal. You got to get Giannis. Once he's out there, you know there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. Get Giannis. 2, do nothing. Which would have been, hey, Jaylen Brown, we are not trading you. We were only going to do it for Giannis. You're going to be a Celtic next year. We'll make it work. Or 3, take the worst possible offer that everyone's laughing at, and that is what happened. And
it must not have been the worst offer. Maybe nobody else. I mean, I don't know. It just seems so strange.
Really quick, worst trade, the Luka trade or this one?
This one you can't. The Luka deal ended up getting them Cooper Flag, and they got bailed out by that. The bailout for the Celtics in this trade is that they use those first-round picks plus some of the cap space they opened up to go get Trey Murphy, and it turns into a two-part deal.
And the truth is, unfortunately, Boston's – now maybe it changes under a new owner. They're a well-run organization, and they usually are good. They're in the mix.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't count them out, but I would say this trade, yes, right now is worse than Luka because Dallas got very lucky.
They got lucky.
Yeah.
But that was such a dumb trade.
But we only know it's better now because we know the outcome of the loss.
Right.
As opposed to Boston,
in a way, the reason I would say in a way that trade was worse is because in this case, Jaylen Brown was holding their feet to the fire.
Yeah,
like he was forcing his way out. Luka wasn't forcing his way out.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great
He just
point.
woke
So
up.
they didn't have to trade Luka.
And they're like,
Luka woke up traded. Like,
yeah. And it's like crazy because I think Anthony Davis, to me, is kind of the same comparable player to Paul George at this point. Both guys who had a good heyday.
Yeah.
Both guys are always injured. They're good when they play, but good luck when they play.
I'd rather have Anthony Davis, but yeah, you're right. He's closer to that than he is to being a superstar.
So
regularly,
you know, listen. This is the thing about the NBA that's volatile, and I will say this: we don't like the NBA when it comes to like regular season.
Yeah.
Playoffs are awesome.
Yes, they are.
And the off season, when it get hot and heavy, there's nothing like the tabloids in the NBA.
Yeah, the East lit right now.
Yeah. All right. It really is.
Yeah.
It's very interesting depth. We were saying before the show, like, the Cavs could finish second, they could finish ninth. I don't, I mean, it's depending on what they do. If they get LeBron, they're not going to finish ninth, but, who knows? It's so up in the air right now. We'll see. Obviously, we'll talk more about LeBron. We talked about him a little bit, but we'll get into it later. And, is he going to really take minimal money? He's never in the past. Will he do it now? I don't know. We'll get to that later. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the AFC North.